Hey, hold on, let me check on my baby. What? Motherfucker want to play with me today?
A mother of 5 shot and killed in front of her children, and police call her an innocent victim, and the search is now on for those who took her life.
2 frozen drinks, still cold, still sealed, still in her hand when she hit the ground. That's the detail that should stop you. Not the gunfire, not the chaos, the drinks, because she wasn't part of any of it. Whatever argument started inside that gas station, whatever grudge or beef or bad blood spilled out into the parking lot, she had no piece of it. She walked in a mother, she walked out a mother. 30 seconds later, she was gone. Her name was Shakeela Martin. She was 35. She had 5 kids waiting on her. Some of them right there in the store with her. Some of them in the car, watching through the windshield. Here's what nobody tells you about violence like this. It doesn't check who deserves it. It doesn't pause to ask if you were involved. It just needs a body in the wrong 10 feet of pavement at the wrong second, and that night, that body was hers. And there's something almost unbearable about the timing, if you can even call it that. In less than 24 hours, Shakeela and her kids were supposed to be gone. New house, new street, a fresh start she'd already packed boxes for. She was that close to leaving this exact stretch of road behind for good. She didn't make it one more day. By the end of this, you're going to understand exactly how a routine gas station run turned into a homicide with no suspect, no motive tied to the victim, and 5 kids who watched it happen. And later, I'm going to walk you through something that could genuinely keep you, or someone you love, from ending up in the same 10 feet of pavement. So stay with me till the end for that. If stories like this matter to you, hit subscribe now, because this isn't the last time we're going to need to talk about who pays the price when violence has nothing to do with the people it hits. Welcome to True Crime Footprint, where we unveil the darkest mysteries and the most terrifying true crime tales. Kindly hit that like button, subscribe to this channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss any of our new stories. Your support keeps these stories alive. She grew up in the same stretch of North St. Louis County she never really left. Working class, tight-knit, the kind of place where everybody's cousin knows everybody's other cousin. And by the time she was 35, Shakeela Martin was the only thing standing between 5 kids and total chaos. 15, 11, 9, 4, and 3. Read those ages again. That's not a household, that's a full-time job with no clock out. No husband in the picture, no second income, no life insurance policy sitting in a drawer somewhere just in case. Just her, doing it alone, the way a lot of mothers in that part of Missouri do it alone, because the math of raising 5 kids on one income rarely leaves room for anything extra, including protection against the unthinkable. People who knew her keep saying the same kind of thing. Renata McGee, who worked with her, remembers a woman who leaned hard into her faith, who showed up to community prayer when things got heavy, who needed that outlet because life gave her plenty of reasons to need it. That matters here, because it tells you who was standing in that gas station. Not a stranger to hardship, not someone careless, a woman who prayed through her stress and kept showing up for her kids anyway. And she was so close to a different chapter. A new rental out in Jennings, the next town over. Her cousin Whitley Anderson said the whole family was excited, genuinely excited, about the move. It was supposed to happen July 1st. A new street, a new start, maybe a little more room to breathe. June 30th was supposed to be one of the last ordinary nights in that old neighborhood. Pack a few final boxes. Keep the kids cool in the heat. Nothing more. She never got the new house. What happened instead started with an argument that had absolutely nothing to do with her. Inside a gas station, most people only remember for slushies and gas prices. And within minutes, that ordinary Tuesday night turned into the kind of scene police departments spend months trying to untangle. 11:45 that night, Shakeela pulls into the BP at South Florissant and Woodstock. She's got at least 2 of her kids with her heading inside, 9 and 6 years old, wanting something cold on a hot night. The rest are back in the car, waiting. 5 minutes go by. Nothing unusual. Just a mother and her kids picking out frozen drinks in a gas station most people drive past without a second thought. Then, inside the store, an argument starts. Grown men, voices rising, the kind of tension that builds fast in small spaces. It spills out through the doors into the parking lot, and now it's not just words anymore. At 11:55, a second car pulls up on the north side of the lot. The people inside don't get out. They don't need to. They open fire, at least 10 rounds, aimed at the group still arguing outside. Here's the part that should sit with you for a second. Shakeela is walking out of that store right then, drinks in hand, heading back to her kids in the car. She's not near the argument. She's not involved in it. She's just in the space between the door and her vehicle when the bullets start flying. One of those rounds hits her in the head. She goes down instantly, right there on the concrete, in front of her own children. A second man, a customer, also gets hit, multiple times, and he's fighting for his life on that same pavement. By 11:59, the shooter's car is already gone, tearing off toward the main roads, disappearing into a city that gives cars like that plenty of places to vanish. Officers show up to shattered glass, bullet marks across the brick, and 2 people down on the ground. Shakeela is pronounced dead right there at the scene. And this is the point in the story where most people expect closure, an arrest, a name, a motive that ties back to her somehow. There isn't one. Not yet. And what investigators were up against next is honestly harder than most people realize. If a story like this is making you think twice about the little things, the gas station runs, the late night stops, that's exactly the point. Hit subscribe now, because what I'm about to show you next could genuinely change how you move through spaces like this one.
The victim has been identified as 35-year-old Shakeela Martin of Ferguson. She was bringing 2 of her 5 children to this BP gas station to get slushies on a hot night. She was killed by stray gunfire, and now a community is in mourning. A shattered glass door is boarded up, and there are bullet holes on the side of a BP gas station in Ferguson. Curtis Ware speaks for an outraged community that's hurting.
I just feel like the violence needs to stop, man. That's all I can say. I can't really elaborate on too much, but I just feel like everything needs to stop.
Police say there was an argument inside the convenience store shortly before the victim, 35-year-old Shakeela Martin, arrived. And as she was walking back to her car with her 9- and 6-year-old children, there was a barrage of gunfire from a nearby vehicle, and she was hit and killed.
It's sad because 2 young kids, I heard she had 5 kids. So 2 of the young kids that seen it they're going to have a hard time. They're going to need some therapy or something.
This is the 6th shooting that First Alert 4 has reported on happening at a gas station in the last 3 months. Saturday night, a 22-year-old man was killed inside the Quick Trip on Gravois in South City. There have also been recent deadly shootings at a Phillips 66 off South Broadway and at a Phillips 66 in Soulard, and now at the BP off West Florissant. We've learned that Martin worked at a Rally's off Page Avenue. Renata McGee became Facebook friends with her after meeting Martin at a Rally's and seeing she was having a bad day.
And so we said, "Can we pray for you?" And she said, "Sure." And when we prayed for her, she started crying. And she said, "Thank you, I needed that."
Ferguson police say a man was also shot but survived with critical injuries, and that he also was an innocent victim. The Ferguson police chief said that detectives are following some promising leads.
The people who could actually tell detectives what happened were her own children. Kids who just watched their mother die are not easy witnesses. Getting a clear account from a 9-year-old without making the trauma worse takes time most investigations don't have. The surviving male victim, the one who might have actually been the target, was in critical condition and couldn't speak to police in those first crucial days. So the one man who might know why this happened was unreachable. No plate number, no vehicle description, no name, just a car that came, opened fire, and disappeared onto South Florissant Road like it was never there. Chief Troy Doyle's department responded by installing cameras with license plate readers right there in the BP lot. It's a real step, but it's also an admission. This tool exists because the tragedy already happened, not because it was prevented. Here's the safety piece I promised you. Gas stations like this one are what criminologists call risky facilities. Late at night, high turnover, cars coming and going, and almost nobody paying attention to who else just pulled in. This wasn't the first shooting at a station on this corridor. It was the 6th in 3 months. So if you're stopping late at night, don't park facing away from the entrance. Glance at who else is on the lot before you get out. If voices start rising near you, that's your signal to get back in the car, not to linger and see how it plays out. None of this guarantees safety, but awareness buys you seconds, and seconds are exactly what Shakeela didn't have. Her children didn't just lose their mother, they lost her in front of their own eyes, which means the trauma they're carrying goes far beyond grief. Child psychologists will tell you that witnessing a parent's violent death can produce complex PTSD that follows a kid for years, shaping how they trust, how they attach, how safe they ever feel again. And because Shakeela had no life insurance, her death didn't just leave 5 kids without a mother, it left them financially exposed overnight. Her cousin Whitley Anderson had to set up a fundraiser just to cover a funeral, because that's what happens when working-class families lose their only income and their only protector in the same instant. Residents like Curtis Ware have said what a lot of people in that area are feeling: tired, worn down by a pattern that keeps repeating at gas stations across North St. Louis County, each one a warning nobody acted on until it was too late again. If this story affected you the way it affected me, put it in the comments, tell me what stood out, and if you haven't already, subscribe, because these are the stories that deserve to be remembered, not scrolled past. To Shakeela's family, and to the 5 children who lost their mother that night, I am so sorry for what you're carrying. No words fix this, but you are not forgotten here. To everyone who made it to the end, thank you for watching, for your attention, and for joining us on this journey of reflection. Stay informed, stay vigilant, and above all, stay safe. See you on our next video.